From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBICD, Primetime Capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. And it is time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the first topic, and that's going to be the Boston Celtics last night. Winner, chicken dinner. Celtics stay alive with the wire-to-wire win, wire-to-wire win, beating the Heat 110-97 to make the series 3-2 heading back to Miami. So last night we had four guys for the Celtics score 20 points or more last night. It was crazy because we had, of all people last night, Derek White had himself a game. He had 24 points in last night's game. That led all scorers on each side. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. The guy hit 6 threes, so that was good for 18 points in itself. Then he was able to hit some free throws that were pretty clutch as well. And then he had a few buckets from the inside, but 24 points. That was huge. Marcus Smart had 23, so they didn't need Brown and Tatum to lead the way last night, even though those two guys had 21 points each. The highest plus minus guy was Marcus Smart last night. That was good too. And it's crazy. After these four guys who scored 24, 23 and 221s, you had only, peep this, you had 21 points from four other guys after that. So pretty much this was a ultimate team starting effort. You know what I mean? Al Horford didn't do much, but Al Horford, you already expect him not to do too much. Grant Williams played great defense last night. He scored a few buckets, but, that's what they needed him for. But Derek White was the difference last night. He ensured that they were going to be able to blow these guys out last night. The Heat were absolutely tragic last night. You had Bam Adebayo only scored 16 points. He led all scorers for the Heat as well, too. Jimmy had a really down night, minus 24 as well, too. Had 14 points last night, hit no threes as well. But he had 5 rebounds, 5 assists. But it just wasn't enough last night. Bam had 6 turnovers. That's never good. Kevin Love only had 6 points, but they got good effort from their bench last night. Highsmith had 15 off the bench. Duncan Robinson led all of the scorers for the Heat with 18. He had 2 3-pointers last night, went and shot 70% actually as well too. And then Caleb Martin had his own 14. So the theory kind of went in reverse last night, but that's because we had 4 20-point scorers on the Celtics side, and we had 5 scorers that didn't get to 20, but they got to double digits. So, sometimes it works itself out, but the rest of the team was bad last night. You didn't get anything from Kyle Lowry. You didn't get anything from Kevin Love either. They combined for 11 points last night and 8 rebounds and 4. And Larry had 4 turnovers. They just didn't get anything last night. So I think that, like I said last night when I was watching the game, I said, I think that when we get to the fourth quarter, if they're not within, say, 15, 16 points, they'll probably go ahead, wave the white flag, get ready to go win the game down in Miami. And that's exactly what happened last night, is that they kind of gave up in the fourth quarter to ensure that, they know that they're up. They know they have another game at home, and they know that that's the game that they have to win. That's the do or die game. So once again, as I said, the last 2 games. No more pressure is on the Celtics. The Celtics were already thrown away. They already said the Celtics season is over, right? The Celtics are done, right? Well, we're still here playing the series because nothing is done yet. And I'm telling you guys right now, if anybody had a maximum amount of pressure on them in a elimination game, it's the Miami Heat. I'm gonna just keep it real with you guys. So pretty much, let's preview that game tomorrow night. There's a couple little gimpy injuries going on with the Heat. You know, Jimmy Butler still has his bad ankle, but he's been playing through it. You also have Gabe Vincent, who's been so big in this playoff series. He's hurt after having himself a game. You know, he got hurt. Caleb Martin, knee issues as well. So you're hoping that Miami's health doesn't catch up with them, and you're hoping that they're not getting too tired at the wrong time either. And then you look at Boston. Boston literally was a team that they said wasn't getting along. Nobody liked each other. Everybody's ready to get out the front door. Missoula's days are numbered, even though they extended him earlier on in the season, and they know that he's still a rookie coach and he's still getting to know how to coach in the NBA. Just a lot of things, you know, with the Celtics. And I felt like, you know, picking on Missoula was just the best way to scapegoat to let the players off the hook. I feel like the players have to be the accountable ones here. They have a coach that was thrown into the fire and literally did the absolute possible best that he could. Now it's time for the players to take over. And I think they got that memo. They had to have that players only conversation. And I know they didn't let the media know about it either. You know, that's how it works sometimes. You got to keep things just in-house. And when I say in-house, that means that you don't tell the talking head, you don't give the guys with mics anything, you don't feed them any information to keep the chatter going. You know, you let them think, oh, Boston's done. Boston's just over with. And Boston goes ahead and they beat them by what was that last night? 13. They beat them by 17. They've totaled a total of 30 points in the last 2 games. You know what I mean? So they beaten them by an average of 15 points the last 2 games. Boston's playing like the Boston Celtics that we all know. There was never anything wrong with them because they don't have any injuries. It was just the fact that shots were not falling when they were supposed to be falling. And pretty much they blew 2 games in Boston as well, too. So when you look at it, they're just making up for effing up in the first place. So I said off top that if anybody can possibly come back from 3-0, it's this Boston team because Miami is bad enough to give this series away. And I already knew that. I know Miami's a good team, but Miami, to me, was supposed to go home in the Knicks series. You know what I mean? They were supposed to go home in the Milwaukee series. Yeah, play a tough series, but they played out of their bodies and they came back to who they truly were the last 3 seasons. So you just got to take it with a grain of salt and tell yourself that, you know, Miami's had a great run and they can win this game tomorrow. They got to win this game tomorrow because if they don't win, then Monday night is going to be a really, really, really tough outing for them Monday night because I don't think they're going to get any favors in Boston come Monday night. Seriously, that would be will probably be a game where you would have to really go in there and understand that you might not be getting a lot of fouls called for yourself tonight. You know, there's just a lot of things that you have to put into place when going back to Boston. So in my eyes, I see that Jimmy Butler is guaranteed a win. When guys usually guarantee a win, it usually works out in 2 ways. They get the win and everybody gets to be like, well, they called their shot. Or they lose and everybody just forgets about it. And I don't have to sit up in here and explain nothing and go crazy or, you know, talk stupid like the rest of them. It's just just keep it real simple. Win or lose. It's that simple for the Miami Heat tomorrow night. The Celtics have already been thrown away. Their season was supposed to be over 3 days ago, 4 days ago. They just playing with house money, right? Right? So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. I have some bets for you for tomorrow's game as well too. So you guys just relax. We'll have some bets for talking tickets for the game tomorrow. But I truly do think that this is the last resort for the Heat when it comes to winning. They got to win, or possibly the season's over Monday. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. And the next topic in hand is going to be this one. It's going to be Cards release DeAndre Hopkins and will eat the $22.6 million in cap space. What's his next move? First thing I saw was, okay, they released him, and they released him like he's out of here. You can start talking to him right now if you want to. And I said, that's kind of odd. You know what I mean? Like I guess they couldn't get the trade off for him, all that stuff. Teams just weren't going to allow themselves to pay a wide receiver $20 million a year that played, really bad last season. So when I saw that they ate the 22.6, I said, there has to be something that's getting this guy off the team this quickly. It's a little bit more than what they're letting us know. And I think that the next team that he gets on, they're probably going to wind up having to deal with whatever issues that the Cardinals just got themselves out of. Okay. And I think that Bill O'Brien might have had a point about DeAndre Hopkins, but everybody wanted to call him racist when he said it. But no coach who really loves to coach football and things like that is just going to spout out things. I heard about the baby mama showing up at the practice facility as well too. All this stuff trickles down to, just bad behavior in a sense as well too. And it's not on him. It just happens. You know what I mean? And I think that he's kind of ran his course a little bit in the NFL. I think that his talent is gone, to be honest with you. I think that he's a really good vet and he's a really good pro at this point. But those days of him being a stellar fantasy wide receiver and all that good stuff are far behind him. He had an injury that lingered that he played through. Then he got caught with the PEDs for that same injury that he played through. And that wrecked half of a season for him in his second year with the Cardinals. Then he came back around and was absolutely just he was absolutely just a guy showing up. You know what I mean? He had some stats. He had some good games, but we all know what happened. He did lose Kyler in the middle of the season as well, too. Kyler tears his leg up. But at the end of the day, though, when they're literally showing you the door and they know that they're about to take this big of a cap hit, like literally they've really put themselves behind for about the next 2 or 3 seasons if they can't clean this up right away. But they did it because they couldn't move forward with him. They didn't even need to wait till July 1st. They just wanted him out the door. So there's more to it than just, a team getting alleviating cap space. It's a lot more to this scenario than the Cardinals are leading on and to what DeAndre is leading on. I think that they're trying to save face. They're trying to make sure that they don't embarrass him. All that good stuff that teams do when they feel like they're doing quote unquote the right thing. So pretty much I think with that, it's going to be a real bidding war for DeAndre once they figure out that there's nothing extracurricular that's going to hold anything up. But from what I heard, you already have the Patriots on line one trying to bring him into New England. And then a friend of mine kept talking about the Jets this morning being a good fit, but I don't think the Jets have the dollars for this situation. But from what else I heard as well, too, that he would be interested in playing with the Chargers because he wants to play with Justin Herbert, and he also wants to play with Lamar Jackson from what he said in a recent podcast. So I could see some of those avenues opening up for him, but just know that you don't need to overpay this guy to have him on your team. But all in all, DeAndre Hopkins, I knew that his days were numbered in Arizona. Both both teams mutually move off of each other, and pretty much we go from there. And it's that simple. But I would say this: DeAndre could probably be a guy that you're going to deal with if he winds up going to the right situation, and that means the right quarterback. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. And I know a lot of fantasy owners are looking at it and telling themselves, man, I hope he winds up somewhere where I can get some money, where I can get some points off of him. You know what I mean? Because DeAndre is going to be a guy that you're probably going to have to hide this year on the bench and then throw him in there in certain situations. But we'll get to talking about fantasy and all that stuff when it's time to talk about fantasy. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our next topic, and that's going to be this. It's going to be who's going to start for the Titans this year. We got three different quarterbacks there. Ryan Tannehill, the incoming quarterback. You got Malik Willis, who was last year's backup and took over at the end of the season, but was benched for the final game of the year when they were trying to make that playoff push as well, too. Also, you have the rookie Will Levis. So where do you go from there? You know what I mean? What do you do? What are you gonna do if you're the Titans? You know, this is a good problem to have where you have three capable quarterbacks and you're gonna give everybody an opportunity to try to win this job. But I think when you look at it and you fast track everything, you know that Will Levis is probably the guy that they got circled to take over this job. But Will Levis, to me, getting drafted in the second round confirms to me that you're not guaranteed a starting spot. You just truly aren't. When you're drafted in the first round, it's almost like it's an obligation that they have to make you let you be a starter in the NFL. But once you get to the second round, though, all bets are off. You can be a great second round pick, but still be a 15-year backup. You know what I mean? I think that Will Levis will probably be a quarterback where they say this, even though he may beat out Ryan Tannehill in camp, which I very much doubt. And I don't think he can beat out Malik Willis yet either. But I think since you have the third quarterback coming back, will probably be a red shirt year for Will Levis to where he can learn how to play the quarterback position. And I think that they're going to keep Malik Willis around, even though, you know, Malik Willis is a trade candidate as well, too. But I think though they got some faith in Willis. But I think Willis got a bad shake because he went to Liberty. He's a little undersized as well, too. And pretty much what happened is that he was just more of a running quarterback than a throwing quarterback. Everything was about just leaving the pocket and going. You know, it wasn't about making it the reads, none of that. It was just get the ball and go. And I think that style is what the NFL is kind of about today, but coaches don't want to see that right away. You know, they want you to work your way into that if you're a running quarterback. They want to see if you can throw the ball. So I think that's where he ran into a little bit of an issue. So we'll see how it goes, but I truly do feel that they do not need to go crazy and go get Will Levis to be the starting quarterback right away and all that good stuff because Will Levis had to wait over at Penn State as well, too. So I think you can go ahead and say to yourself, we're all right with Tannehill because Tannehill has given us 2 playoff appearances as the starter. He's given us 2 playoff appearances as the starter. You know, we got rid of a guy that we felt was the franchise quarterback in Mariota to keep him. So we have to go ahead and be right on this deal as well, too, and let him see if he can really work it out for us this year. So the best thing for the Titans is just to keep Ryan Tannehill at quarterback because that's the only guy you know you can truly win with, and then have Malik Willis waiting in the rafters to be ready just in case Tannehill gets hurt this year. And then you just use Will Levis as emergency quarterback. You put him in the you put him in the third quarterback position. It's kind of like being a red shirt in the college football. And then if something happens to your first 2 quarterbacks, then you can give them a little bit of playing time up there. Or, you know, still go ahead and bring in another quarterback and just let him sit for a year and learn the NFL. Because I think that's the best way to go about it with Will Levis because Will Levis was already embarrassed on draft day. So, you know, you want to just make sure that you kind of hide him a little bit, you develop his mental, and then you bring him back out so he can go ahead terrorize the NFL world. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think that Will Levis was just another guy that they threw out there because the quarterback position is so celebrated. You know what I mean? And I don't think that this was a great quarterback class. I don't even think it was a really good quarterback class, to be honest with you. But it was a need for a lot of teams in the NFL, and they went after their needs. So it is what it is at the end of the day. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. When I get back, we will jump into some baseball. We got Blue Crew Daily and we got the MLB Friday Night. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capos.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we're back with the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. So let's go ahead and jump into our next topics in hand, and that's going to be Blue Crew Daily. Blue Crew Daily, we have the Dodgers start their series with the Rays in a rematch of the 2020 World Series. Dodgers did win that as well, too. And again, teams find themselves at the top of their leagues again. So pretty much it's a big, big deal right now. Shout out to Hunter Green as well, too. He had 11 Ks today. He played a little bit too early for me today. You know that Hunter Green, I usually take advantage of Hunter Green Day. I actually do bet up Hunter Green Day. So if you took Hunter on the over Ks today, you definitely in the money today. But the boy went off. He had 11 strikeouts today in 6 innings as well, too, on 110 pitches. He only walked two guys. And guess what? He gave up no hits and no runs. They literally, he had a no-hitter going, and they put him to the bench. I can't believe that. I hate that when they do that. Just let the boy finish up. Jeez Louise. Let him decide if he needs to be But I think that as long as he's dueling the right way, he was pitching a lot, you know what I mean? And they're trying not to get how these guys throwing 120, 130 pitches, you know what I mean? So, because they're not trying to get guys to throw their arm out. But 11 strikeouts today, that was huge. I think that was a coming of age moment. And right now, the Chicago Cubs are absolutely blitzing the Cubs 7-0. So there you have it. But let's go ahead and jump into this Rays and Dodgers situation. Rays and Dodgers, this is going to be a really good game. It's going to be a really good series. And I just really feel like, you got a Dodgers team 31-20. You have this Rays team 37-15. The Dodgers got off to a slow start this year. Rays got off to a fast start this year. So you see that it's the tale of two tapes with these teams. But the Dodgers still have the advantage, in my opinion. The Dodgers, I feel like, can go in here and figure out a way to get themselves a very, very good series win this series. Because when you look at what the Dodgers are coming with this weekend, yeah, they got Thor starting tonight. So this might be the Rays one game where they can go ahead and take advantage of the Dodgers, but after that, they got some of their better pitchers going. You got Clayton Kershaw coming back after having another beautiful baby. And then you also have Gavin Stone, who's kind of shaky, but he's going against another rookie anyway. So that should be something that works out very well for the Dodgers. But the Dodgers got an early start that day as well, too. The Dodgers start that game at 8:35 in the morning Pacific time, but it's because they have to fly back to California right after the game, and that's a 6-hour flight. So pretty much they're going to fly back, and then they got Washington for the next few days, and they play Washington actually at home on Wednesday, and the Dodgers will not have a day off at all. Well, yeah, they will have a day off. They'll be off Thursday, and then they play the Yankees over the weekend to start the month of June. So the Dodgers looking to get themselves in the right position here. You got the Rays, though. They're playing great baseball right now. The Rays are a team that got everybody really excited about how their moves are going and everything like that. And people are very adamant that this team can win a World Series ring this year. It's crazy because this team has a 113 plus differential in runs towards every team in the MLB. You know what I mean? Towards all the teams in their league. Dodgers had that situation going for themselves last year as well too. So you might not want to jump ahead of the group too fast because then you might get popped in the playoffs. So the Rays got to start kind of maybe taking their time just a little bit. But I'm looking at this situation. I think that we have ourselves a really good moment this weekend, and I know that they'll be following this series very closely as well too. So let's go ahead and move forward to our next topic, and that's going to be our MLB Friday night. We got ourselves a full schedule tonight. As I said before, we had one game going with the we had one game going with the Reds and the Cubs, and what happened there is that the Cubs are absolutely getting smacked. As I already said, Hunter Green, 11 strikeouts, and they have 7 runs on the board at Wrigley. So there you have it. That's our only game going today, but you got a full schedule. I got 3 of them to talk about today. American League game, a National League game, and an interleague game. First one up is going to be a division rivalry game between the Phillies and the Braves. Today, you got a Phillies team trying to bounce back after a rough series with the Arizona Diamondbacks, who absolutely had their way with them. And then you have the Braves, who lost their recent series to the Dodgers as well, too. They kicked off their series yesterday, and Atlanta wound up winning that game 8-5. So now we're back at it today, and you got Jared Schuster on the mound, who has a 5.49 ERA. Pitched very well in his last game against Seattle, only gave up 1 run, walked 1, and wound up striking out 7 and only giving up 1 hit. Other than that, though, he had struggled just a little bit before that game, but that was his first really good outing where he didn't have issues with with walking or with guys getting runs and hits on him. So that's a pretty good step in the right direction. Then you have the savvy vet in Taiwan Walker, who had a really good game. He only went 5 1/3, but he pitched very well against the Cubs. He wound up striking out 3, gave up no runs that day as well, too, after having a little bit of a bad little run there for about a 5-game stretch. But he's been good. He usually when he pitches really well, he'll keep the rhythm going. So I do like the fact that you do have that in place. And I just think tonight will be one of those nights because it's a division rival that you'll wind up getting an upset in this spot. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But I do like the Phillies tonight with the plus 130, and we'll see if they can go ahead and cash that ticket for us tonight. So we'll see how this one shapes up. But I do like the way that this is looking tonight. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and we move forward from there. Now we have the Jays and the Twins. This was a good series back in 1991, where you had the Twins and the Jays go at it for the American League title. Twins won that year, moving forward, and pretty much the next year, the Blue Jays became the unstoppable force for the next few seasons in the MLB. Now, you have the Toronto Blue Jays, who struggled, and you have the Minnesota Twins who are struggling a little bit too this month. But the difference is that the Blue Jays find themselves damn near in last place now. The Twins find themselves still in first place, even though the Twins have had a pretty rough last, I would say, for real, they've had themselves a pretty rough 10 games over this stretch since coming to LA. They've actually lost their last 7 out of 10. So that's something that actually they've lost their last 6 out of 10. Sorry about that. But, they should be better than this, man, in my opinion. They should be way better than this. And they have ran into some issues because, just everybody's kind of catching up with them. But nothing's worse than the Blue Jays right now. The Blue Jays haven't won a series since sweeping Atlanta weekend on the 12th through the 14th series that they had. Since then, they've won 2 games since that point. And they have been absolutely dreadful. They've lost the last 9 out of 11 games. So, they got to do better. It's just not. This is something that has to get fixed, and it has to get fixed pretty quickly. So, I don't know what the Blue Jays are going to do. Manoah is really struggling. He's playing bad baseball right now as well. And I would say that this game tonight, you can go ahead and tell yourself that you got a better pitcher on the mound, so let's go ahead and see what Gausman has to offer here. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But I do really, truly do like the Blue Jays tonight. I think they got to get some get back tonight. They're about due for a good win tonight as well, too. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's where we'll go from there. And there it is. There it is. Let's move forward and jump into the next game, which is going to be this one right here, which is going to be the Mariners and the Pirates. The Pirates find themselves on the wiggity wiggity West Coast, and they are ready to go ahead and, get it on. Pirates are sitting here 25-24. You have a Mariners team that's 26-24. Pirates over here trying to hold on to a winning record, so they can possibly still be in this thing come September in the playoff hunt. These guys are pesky. They just figure out ways to not go away. But they have lost their last 4 out of 5 games. They dropped their last 2 series in a row as well, too. And as I said before, they've had a really rough month. After winning like 20-some-odd, after winning, 20 games last month, they've only won 5 games this month. So you see the big difference in what this Pittsburgh team is without O'Neal Cruz. Okay, so pretty much you start the month off with a 6-game losing streak, then you have another 4-game losing streak. Now you've lost the last 4 out of 5 after winning 3 out of 4. So, it's just been really bad for the Pirates this month. Then you have the Mariners, who I feel like are picking up the pace. They truly are, in my opinion. These guys have won their last 4 in a row, and they've actually won their last 5 out of 6 after having a 3-game losing streak and losing 4 out of 5. So they're playing good baseball. They're trying to finish up the month playing good baseball as well, too. But they did luck out a little bit. They had 4 straight wins against the lowly A's. The A's are awful right now. The A's have lost 43 games already. We're not even in June yet. So tonight, the way that I see this, I think that the Pirates actually do keep this one close. So I like the Pirates to actually be on the run line tonight. I like the plus 1.5 with the Pirates tonight. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. And we move from there. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take another quick commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to jump into Talking Tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, here we are. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into this. And we have the Talking Tickets, and we have 70-1 PrimeTime PK6. We have the over 8.5 with the White Sox and the Tigers. We also have the under 9 with the Dodgers and the Rays as well too. We also have the Phillies money line plus 130. That's going to be our dog of the day. Then we have the Brewers minus 125. That's going to be a strong play as well for us. And we also have the Jays minus 1.5, minus 110 on the run line today. And then we finish up with the Rockies plus 115 with the plus 1.5. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. And like I said before, you guys got to understand, I have the Pirates on my next card. So this is the early PrimeTime PK6 card. This is the late pick 4, okay? So pretty much we have the Marlins plus 115, their money line tonight. They play at the Big A. We also have the Red Sox with the plus 115, minus 1.5 run line. Let's see if Chris Sale can go ahead and take care of some business. And as I said before, the lowly A's, I don't want to do anything with that team right now. I don't even think they can score runs right now. So hopefully they can get a little bit of pitching tonight and we get the under 8.5 in that spot. And then we wrap it up with the plus 1.5 on the minus 160 with the Pirates. And then for tomorrow, we have ourselves the Eastern Conference Game 6 bets, Eastern Conference Finals Game 6 bets. So we have ourselves the plus 2.5 on the Heat. We also have the over 102.5 with the first half as well. And then we have the Heat first quarter with the plus 110 money line. So there it is with the Eastern Conference Finals Game 6. And you know what? I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in. You guys are the absolute best. And, I'll be back to you guys on Monday. We'll have a whole lot to talk about then because, sports over the weekend, there's always a lot to talk about. So pretty much you guys be on the lookout for the show. It's going to be early. I'm going to do it about 11:30. So be ready for that. And pretty much I'm excited. I hope you're excited as well, too, because we got a lot of great things as we move forward into a pretty good, as we keep moving forward into a year that's been pretty good, betting wise and everything like that, for me at least, so pretty much let's see how it goes, man. And let's see how it shakes out. You guys been beautiful. And you know that we're probably going to be taking our summer break fairly soon as well, too. So, I'm trying to get in as many shows as possible because, there's going to be a time when we get to the NBA Finals, All-Star break in MLB where it's going to have to be just a little break on the show because, we got to have stuff to talk about. So pretty much I'm trying to do as much as possible right now. So once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And as I always like to say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.